Salutations! Searching for a Noah here. It's the 7th game on my list, and it's actually a bit more of a departure from the other games. A bit more. Get out your grinding boots and thinking caps for this one, Chronus Arc. A new team called Hitpoint is responsible for the crisp new-looking game feel of this one. It looks like an old 16-bit RPG with these newer, rounder sprites. So, alright at a glance, the game feels like it might be more fleshed out, and I hope offers something vastly different. What am I in now? 6 games in a row of being this trope of our party members being guilty for an misunderstanding, thrown in jail, have the leader be more affable with us while a side or aide goes, "But your majesty," and the leader's all, "Oh, hush, these guys are alright." I can thank the last game for doing it, but have it so the leader is sort of blackmailing you to help them out, so... different? Question mark? But with a title like Chronus Arc, I'm thinking, Chrono Trigger? No. Not even close. Main guy is tasked to find these Chronus fragments for a festival called the Time Rewinding, where broken things are mended by a god. And you get 2 more party members with you to chase a guy with a Mohican haircut all the while. They keep mentioning the guy with the Mohican. What's his name? We gotta chase him down. I was getting not so much Chrono Trigger vibes, but Lufia vibes from the block pushing puzzle staring you in the face as you begin Dungeon 1, and there's plenty of block pushing and puzzling to do with that. There's also materials to grab all over in sparkly areas. So, Tales of, I guess. Encounters are random on the overworld, but in dungeons you can run into them. I was hoping to sneak up behind enemies and see if I could get like a, oh, you attack first or whatever to get an advantage. Not the case. So, to see it, but not have it, like, really matter. But yeah, I hope you like grinding, because this game calls for a lot of it. Even the currency that isn't the gold system in this game has changed to kind of reflect that. Now, this game counts how many kills you've claimed. 10 kills to even get the cheapest amount, 2. The maximum is 500. Kills, not fights. So if you get to like 2, 3, 4 enemies is the maximum, so you can get a bunch of them together. The only gimme is, once you hit a town or dungeon on the map, you can freely teleport there at no cost. And if you get into a bad scrape while in a dungeon, that same button can whisk you right out of it to the very entrance. No need for like any items to purchase for any sort of thing like most other of these games. So, okay. They giveth and taketh away. I do have another gripe with the fights themselves. Normally I can choose one of my guys to do a spell or technique and then hit the auto battle button to let everybody else just do whatever. This game doesn't do it that way. It retroactively goes back to everyone just swinging normally. And most games have an option where, oh, you can use skills instead of attacks. For some reason, this game does not. It's all just normal swings. So, that took a little getting used to. It's like, oh, triangle doesn't do this anymore? Shit. Or it does, but it takes me out of the spell I used. And like, man. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is more of a hint for you, poison's the only stat effect that lingers after a fight's won. But the first town you're in sells the antidote item for mad cheap. Keeps a bunch of those around. Remember when I mentioned that getting the thrown in jail trope? It happens here too. I'm convinced this is Kemco's Sid in every Final Fantasy, that running gag. Very straightforward trophy list, albeit 0 platinum. But very simple to complete once you really get going. All the trophies are beat the game and just do all the quests. That's it. No extra endings or anything of that. The puzzles can be a pain, but that's expected, and there was thankfully a walkthrough RPG Insanity hooked me up with to get through the game that much faster. Commendable effort. I'll say this one's more fleshed out in gameplay, and once again, the story suffers as a result. Overall, I had fun with this. This is the first time since probably Dragon Sinker I poured so much time into a game and just kept going. Like, I finished this a little bit quicker than some others. You're going to keep going whether you want to or not, because this game asks so much from you from the very beginning. You're not exactly going to be swatting down enemies like flies until later on. Once you get like more like classes and stuff like that. Because then when you start at level 1 again, it's like, okay, now you're a little bit stronger. And you keep doing that over and over and over again. Until you eventually get to that point where you're swatting enemies. And even then you can still get into some trouble. There's just little to no hand-holding for this one. So I will say C+, because it does take some time to really get going, and the challenge with the triangle button not keeping where it's supposed to be. Who use spells that irk me a bit. You do get a fast-forward button for fights. But yeah, with all the gripes, I gotta bump it down. So, I'm curious to see what's next for hit point. Just short of anywhere in a B rank for me at that point right now. I can see some looking at the beginning work and going, yeah, I'm moving on. But the next episode is on a departure in one of the few Kemco games that's over $14.99 American. We had Lufia. Now we get our Alchemy Reciteer on in Moranian Tavern story, Patty and the Hungry God. Or I would, if the game let me play it and not have to keep hitting the little PlayStation home button in and out to make the game not lock up and ignore all my other button presses just to keep playing. That was going to get tedious in a hurry, so since I can't run it the normal way for whatever reason, I gotta skip this and move on. I'll probably skip the other game that these guys made that's also $20 on PSN in Blacksmith of the Sand Kingdom, which is way, way later down the list. But it looks like the same game pretty much from screenshots on Steam. So I'll move past this game and bring it back to the sequels. And this one's a more direct sequel than Revenant Dogma was, which just kind of fell in the same timeline, so to speak. Remember that adorable cat from episode 1 of this segment? It's back now. And so are all the other party members for As Divine Hearts 2. So until next time, take care and thanks for watching.